One year, King David sent his army off to war, but instead of going with them, he stayed back in the capital city. One day, David was strolling on the roof of his palace when he caught sight of a stunningly beautiful woman taking a bath. He asked one of his servants, "Who's the woman who lives in that house there?" "That would be Bathsheba, your majesty, the wife of Uriah, one of your soldiers." David invited Bathsheba to the palace, and when she came, he slept with her. A few months later, Bathsheba found out that she was pregnant, and she let David know. David sent a message to the general of his army saying, "Send Uriah back to the capital." So Uriah returned from war. David spoke with him about how the war was going. Then he said, "Now go home and relax." But Uriah didn't go home. He spent the night in the entrance of the palace with some of the king's servants. The next day, David asked Uriah, "Is everything all right? You've been away from home for so long. Why didn't you go home last night?" "I could never enjoy the pleasures of my home and my wife, while the army's still out there sleeping in tents on hard ground." "Well, stay here another night, and then tomorrow you can go and join the army again. Here, come have dinner with me." Then David got Uriah drunk, but he still wouldn't go home to Bathsheba. The next day, David wrote a letter. "Dear General, put Uriah in the front line, and when the fighting is fierce, pull back so that he gets killed. From King David." Then he sealed the letter and gave it to Uriah to take to the general. So the general put Uriah in the front line, and when the fighting was fierce, the army pulled back, and Uriah and some other soldiers were killed. When Bathsheba heard that her husband was dead, she mourned for him. After she'd finished mourning, David brought her to the palace and married her. After this, a man of God named Nathan came to King David and said, "There were two men. One was rich and had many flocks of sheep. The other was poor and had one little lamb that he treated as part of his family. The rich man had a visitor. Instead of using one of his sheep, he took the poor man's lamb and killed it to provide food for his guest." "He did what?" said David. "That rich man deserves to die." "That rich man is you. God says, 'I chose you to be king, and I've been with you, but you sneered at me by murdering Uriah and taking his wife. Because of this, I will punish you.' I've disobeyed God. God has forgiven you, and you won't die because of this. But because you have shown utter contempt for God, the child will die." And like Nathan said, Bathsheba's child got very sick. For 7 days, David fasted and lay on the ground begging God to let the child live. On the 7th day, the child died. David got up and had a bath and changed his clothes. Then he went and worshipped God, then returned home. At mealtime, the servants saw David eating and said, "What's going on, my lord? While the child was alive, you were mourning for him, and now that he's dead, you're no longer mourning?" "While the child was alive, I thought, maybe God will be kind to me and let the child live. But now that he's dead, mourning won't bring him back. One day I'll go to him, but he's never going to come back to me." Hey there! I hope you found today's story interesting in some way. Just letting you know that even though my normal schedule is to put a Bible story up every 2 weeks, in 1 week's time I'm going to put a special video on this channel that relates to today's story in some way. So I'll see you in 1 week's time with a special video on Storytime with Josh.